there's certain liberties, there's certain privileges that are afforded, you know, women that are not African American or vis-a-vis white or Caucasian women that African American women may not get.
Yes.
And the same thing with African American men. There's things, certain privilege and, you know, and perks that white men are going to get that African American men won't get. I remember watching a comedy skit once where a black comedian actually dressed himself up in,
I was just talking about that.
white makeup, and it was unbelievable because he noticed. He said, "Wow, you know, I never knew what it was, what it would be like to live, you know, as other than a black person, you know, the perks and the respect that you get." And this is not to center the dialogue or the discussion on race, but it's something we have to come to terms with because again, this is part and parcel of the fabric of the society we live in. America has a color problem.
Yes.
America has a race problem. So again, as our faith traditions, and the same thing happens in the church, it's the same thing. This is not something that's just specific to Islam.
We look at what was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where women are concerned. Even today, we still are, you know, far out with what rights that women have that in Christianity and Judaism for sure that they never got.
Sister, let me stop you right here. You know, the issues between men and women and the equality and how Islam is a champion for women's rights. So we never can say that any subjugation of women or any misogyny that any male embarks upon that has any Islamic basis. Right. You know, this is the furthest thing from Islam, and it's only the deficiencies in one's practice of Islam that would make one to be inclined. And I would venture to say that that person will probably have the same proclivity to those deficiencies even if they weren't Muslim. It's not something that has anything to do with it. Half the time, they converted it and they brought their baggage with them from whatever they were before they became Muslim.
So I agree, and that was so wonderful to hear you say that. I mean, some of it getting equal pay and to be respected and all of those things, yes, but then there was another side that unfortunately brought women to a point where there was a division, a major division with the feminism movement.
And I go back even to my own history growing up as a child of the Nation of Islam. I mean, it would be unconscionable for a person to publicly call a black woman that 5-letter equivalent of a 4-legged dog, and you know what I'm talking about. It'd be unconscionable to say that in front of a Muslim man in the Nation of Islam because we were taught to respect our women for all of, you know, a lot of some of the male chauvinists or more male-dominated aspects of the movement. You know, that's all those things, you know, notwithstanding. For certain, there was a culture of respect for women, and a woman was held in a high place of esteem. I talked to a sister the other day. She said that it would be to the point during the nation. She said that if a Muslim sister was walking down the street and men were there, they stood up, or they moved to the side of the road to let the sister by.
I remember.
Now contrast that now with if an African American woman walks down the street, and God forbid if she's dressed in any way that can provoke some type of emotion from that person, she'd be leered at, she'd be called all types of names possibly, and it's just a bad situation. So again, you know, getting back to, you know, what you mentioned about women in leadership, I think that not the time is coming, but the time is now, that as women continue to blaze the trail in education and in many cases, you know, surpass, you know, what men are doing educationally, economically, and what have you, that women are going to be viable players at the table of leadership, and it's just going to have to be accepted, and we'll deal with the specifics and work out the mechanics along the way.
Okay.